Hey, welcome back to the channel. So I purchased a winter beater, that one, and the headlights on it are pretty rough. So today we're going to try out Meguiar's headlight restoration kit, the heavy duty version. I'm going to walk you through the steps and we'll see how she does on my car, and yeah, go from there. Here we go. So this is a 2010 Chevy Equinox, and as you can see, the headlights are in pretty rough shape. They're both bad. So they're really fogged and clouded. So we're gonna see if we can clean them up. It actually looks like this has maybe been done, or something like this has been done in the past. So we're gonna see how this goes. So this is the kit we're gonna be working with. It's Headlight Restoration Kit by Meguiar's. I'll be honest, I did no research on this. I'm using this kit because a friend of mine used this on his car, had good luck, and has leftover materials. So we're going to use the same kit to do ours. Kind of to that point, he did his entire car, and there's, well, looks like most of the bottle left and most of this container. So this is the type of kit that you can use over and over again. It's supposed to last for about a year. So it's going to get me through the winter and into next year. And if I have to do a little bit of something to clean it up a bit, it's still a lot cheaper than buying new headlights for the car and dealing with taking off the bumper and all those fun things. So step one is going to be to clean the light, to get as much dirt and debris and kind of grease and oil off as we can. Recommend just using glass cleaner for that. And then to mask off the paint around the edges so that you don't get the sandpaper onto the paint, and you don't worry about getting any of this, the chemicals and stuff you're going to use, get off on the painted surface of your car. So I'm gonna go do that first, and then we'll check back in. All right, so I've got the light masked off and clean. This is going to serve as my before picture as well. So let's get into the kit itself. All right, so the kit comes with everything you see here. There's this hand applicator. This is what you're going to use for most of the work. There are two different sanding discs. There's a 1,000 grit and a 3,000 grit disc. There's an applicator for the chemicals you're doing, and there's this buffing pad that hooks onto your drill. As well as that, the kit comes with Meguiar's Plastic X and headlight sealant. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to work with a 1,000 grit sandpaper and the hand applicator, and this will be our first step on the light. So we'll take this, drop her right onto there, and this is going to be our tool. All right, we're back out at the light, and what we're going to be doing is wet sanding. Wet sanding is just what it sounds like. It's running water over the surface, or getting this nice and wet and using the water to lubricate the action so that you're just taking the smallest amount of material off of the light. Now, your methods for doing this are either to get a spray bottle and spray water directly onto the light or onto the disc, or get a little Tupperware container or bowl and just dunk this in it. But you want this disc to be nice and wet, and you're going to re-dunk this frequently as you go to stop this from drying out. And once this is all wet and ready to be used, you're going to go to the light, and on the light we're going to work side to side initially here, and we're just going to do nice even passes, and we're going to do this until the light looks uniform and frosted, so it looks fogged over. So any of the shiny spots we're going to run over with this until they're foggy, and any of these heavier oxidized spots we're going to run over this until they're clear, and we're going to re-dunk our sanding disc often to keep this nice and wet, and just let all that water run off as you go. And then once you think you've got it smooth, just take a microfiber and you're going to wipe all this excess off. You can see already we're a lot better than we used to be. What you're looking for is kind of a uniform foggy surface. You can see I've got a little bit more oxidation here that I need to take off just to get it nice and even, so that when we do our final polish, all of that will disappear. So you want it to be cloudy, you don't want it to be totally clear, but some of this extra kind of thicker area I'm still going to knock down just a little bit more with the sandpaper, and then I'll come back and wipe that all off. So here's what I think we're going for. See, it's kind of just uniformly cloudy. There's going to be a bunch of stuff that runs down your car, but what that is just a little bit of the residue from whatever was on your lights to begin with. and then that little bit of plastic that you're sanding off, and that'll just rinse right off. It comes off the car real easy. So now we're gonna move on to the next step. All right, for our next step, we're gonna remove the 1000 grit sandpaper from our applicator here. Set that aside. And we're gonna grab the 3000 grit, drop that on there. Try to get straight, easier to do with two hands. We're gonna pop that on there. Same thing, we're gonna wet sand with it. The difference though, is where on the 1000, we were running side to side. With the 3000, we're gonna go top to bottom. What this is going to do is it's going to polish down all the really fine scratches that 1000 grit sandpaper left, and it's going to even all of that out so we have a nice even surface. So I'm going to get to work on that. All right, so we're already a little bit clearer. Now we're going to move on to the next step. So we're going to take the buffing pad and attach it to a drill. Cordless or corded is fine. Then we're going to put a nickel size dollop of the plastic X onto the end here. And you're going to place it against the light flat like this, and then just tilt a little bit, and we're going to run side to side in kind of even overlapping motion to get this as polished as possible. You don't need to use a lot of pressure, and you're going to treat a small area at a time, so don't try to do an entire light this size all at once. We're just kind of focus on one spot, get that spot done, and then work our way down, kind of work across the light. I'm going to do about half the light, and then I'll stop and do a checking, so I'm going to need both hands for this. Okay, I went a little bit more than half. You can see the results on this, and they're pretty dramatic. So this side's been done, and then over here hasn't. So this is the cloudy, and that's the polished. So already, this light's looking pretty good. So here we are completely polished. You can see how effective that stuff is. It's crazy. So now what we're gonna do is take some glass cleaner, and we're gonna run it over this just to make sure we get all of the residue of that off. Kind of to that point, when you're working your way through sections, between sections, when you stop to reapply some of the plastic X onto the applicator pad, you're gonna take a microfiber and just wipe as much of that off. You don't want to allow the plastic X to dry on the light. It's purely meant as a polishing agent. So just have a microfiber with you, wipe it off as you go, kind of clean along the way. I'm gonna get some glass cleaner, we'll clean this up, and then we'll go on to the last step. All right, then once your lights are clean, the last step is going to involve the glass sealant and this little foam applicator. So you're going to put a little bit of the sealant on the applicator, and you're going to bring it over to the light, and you're going to go top to bottom and just put it on wet. So you don't want to like rub it in, just put it on nice thick coating or nice wet coating all the way. Apply more sealant as you need. And what's going to happen is in about 15 minutes, that's going to dry to the touch, but it's going to take a whole 24 hours for it to cure. So in that 24 hours, if possible, you want to keep dirt and water off of this light because it's not going to be fully hard. So if you have the option to park in a garage and wait for it to cure, that's going to give you the best, longest lasting result. So this then is my after shot for the side-by-side. So there you have it, not a bad process. Now I'm not endorsing one product over another, I'm not paid to do this. There are other options out there. The Meguiar's kit is about 20 bucks, 25 bucks, depending on where you get it. Turtle Wax has a kit. There's a few other pieces. With the Meguiar's kit, you get enough material and enough chemicals that you could do this year after year after year. Harbor Freight sells replacement discs if you need like new sanding discs, if you wear those out. So there is really the option to kind of use this in subsequent years if you like. I'm imagining the Turtle Wax kit is roughly the same and probably has about the same application process, but I'm super excited about that and ready to make that side look the same. So this being the end of a DIY dad video with a fly buzzing around my head, I of course owe you a dad joke. So, did you hear about the guy who took a new job cleaning streets? He said he didn't mind the job. There was no training at all. They just expected him to pick it up as he went along. All right, remember, with any DIY project, most important step is just to do it. It doesn't have to be perfect. No one's going to see the flaws unless you point them out to them. Have a great day. Stay safe. Catch you on the next one. Bye.